Hello, thank you for joining me. Today I'd like to talk about collecting for the NEC PCFX. This is a request that I've gotten recently. Someone is interested in getting started collecting for the system, so I'd like to talk about that and a little bit about the system itself because I think it's very interesting for collectors. For starters, the PCFX was never released outside of Japan. It came out in 1994 on December 23rd and was a collaboration between Hudson Soft and NEC. They supported the system for a little over 3 years, and during that time they released 62 games. The games are very interesting because they're something of a look into Japanese PC gaming of the era. I got to see a video on YouTube recently where they talk about the origin of the name of the system. The PC stands for NEC's PC98 line of personal computers. The F stands for future, and the X stands for an undisclosed number, like the variable X. You would be forgiven for assuming that the PCFX is the last in the line of NEC's home console systems, the PC Engine, but it would appear that it's actually a consoleized version of their PC98 line of personal computers. This seems more obvious when you consider the many PC-like aspects of the system. For starters, it's shaped like a small PC tower. In addition to that, the system's games came in cases that were very similar to the PC game cases of the time, and you can see how it's something of a streamlined, kind of smaller, more modern version of these original PC cases. In addition to that, the system features games from many PC game series, including Return to Zork, Lunatic Dawn, which is a PC series of RPGs, and the J.B. Harold murder mystery games. Genres that are well represented on the system include a lot of story-based, text-heavy, point-and-click style games that you would find on PCs of the time. This includes things like Mahjong board games, strategy titles, and PC-style RPGs. Being a home console, it does come with a standard gamepad in the 6-button fighting game style layout. I don't think that this was coincidental. It appears that Hudson Soft saw a potential for fighting games to be popular on the system. Take, for example, Battle Heat. This is a launch title by Hudson Soft, and it's a 2D versus fighter where all of the action takes place as full-motion video scenes. Full-motion video is one of the strengths of the PCFX. There is hardware built into the system to decompress JPEG images at 30 frames per second with an audio stream, making a motion JPEG format that rivaled the full-motion video of any other systems out at the time. NEC and Hudson leveraged this to make several versus fighters that are full-motion video based. This is one in the Tengai Makyo series, which the Happy Console Gamer has talked about before, and this is Queen of Queens, which is a wrestling game utilizing full-motion video. Battle Heat is often recommended as a first game for the system, as it plays to the system's strengths. It's very unique, and it's also affordable. Another oft-recommended launch title is Team Innocent. This is an action-adventure game with sci-fi elements. It has 3D pre-rendered backgrounds and plays similarly to Resident Evil with puzzle-solving and action elements, but it includes 2D sprites. Another typically recommended title is Galaxy Fraulein Una FX. This is another game that utilizes full-motion video, and it's fairly easy to progress through by choosing story options, and then you get to some action sequences where you pick from a rudimentary RPG style battle system where you choose things like attack and defend and special move and that sort of thing. If you're able to understand Japanese with an intermediate or advanced level of mastery, you will have a great many more options on this system that will challenge you as a gamer and introduce you to various Japanese PC-style games that you may not have encountered before, especially if you're strictly a console gamer or collector. However, if your Japanese ability is at beginner level or non-existent, then your options are going to be significantly more limited. If you fall into this category, there are a few games that I recommend that you will definitely be able to play. For starters, we have Shanghai the Wall. If you're a retro game collector, I can't imagine you don't already have a copy of this game of some sort for another system, but if you don't, or you want another game for your PCFX collection, this one is a sure thing. If you are a baseball fan, we have Super Power League you may want to take a look at. In addition to that, I like to recommend this game, Ojo-sama Sousamo. This is essentially a puzzle game where you play as a thief who's stealing famous treasures from various historical sites. And these 5 lady detectives are trying to stop you. This game is in fact frequently referred to as Detective Ladies. The one thing that may hold you back in this game is there are a lot of items that you can buy. I don't know that anybody has done a FAQ for this game, but I will try to provide translations for those items, or maybe put my own FAQ up on GameFAQs for you, so you can give this game a shot. Another one that is often recommended is Last Imperial Prince. This is an action RPG. Think along the lines of Popful Mail. Now that we've gone over those, let me talk about some of the pricier games for the system. We're lucky with the PCFX, at least right now. It is a relatively affordable system to collect for. The system itself is going to run you between $100 and $200 typically. The games themselves aren't particularly expensive, with a handful of games that are a more medium price, and then you do have that handful of games that are quite expensive. The handful of games that are quite expensive also tend to be the sort of action-oriented games that have a universal appeal and can be played by people whose Japanese language ability is not high. One such game is Chip Chon Kick. This is essentially a Bubble Bobble clone. And I'll leave it up to you whether you want to shell out the dough for this, or if you just want to pick up Bubble Bobble and play it on a different system. Another pricey and sought-after title is Chojin Heiki Zeroigar, which is a scrolling shooter or shmup. It's the only one of its kind on the system, and it commands a relatively steep price on eBay. Speaking of eBay, it pays to do some research. Go ahead and take a look at what completed auctions for these games go for in your region. Compare that to what the games go for in Japan on Yahoo Auctions Japan. Keep an eye out for Japanese sellers that are selling on eBay in your region that have typically low prices. If you're going after a particularly pricey item, you may want to consider using a deputy service to help you purchase that item from Japan from an auction site or a vendor who does not ship internationally. The deputy service will handle the purchasing and the shipping of the item to you. Just keep in mind that you will have to pay for the shipping in Japan, internationally, and domestically, plus a fee for the deputy service, all of which can add up to more than you might be expecting. On your local eBay, you may also want to keep an eye out for games that are sold as a lot. Sometimes you can get a good deal, especially a lot of people will sell a handful of games along with their system when they're getting rid of their PCFX collection, which you can take advantage of. As of the filming of this video, the most expensive game on the PCFX is Kishin Doji Zenki FX. This is a side-scrolling beat-em-up. It is quite fun, and it's going to run you a good chunk of change, but it'll definitely be the crown jewel of your PCFX collection. The last rare and expensive game that I'm going to talk about is called Tokimeki Card Paradise. This brings up another notorious aspect of the PCFX, being that it is representative of PC gaming in Japan at the time. It does include a handful of games that have some adult content to them, including nudity. Tokimeki Card Paradise is essentially a strip poker game. This does go for a relatively significant amount of money, but if you are looking for a game that you can play without much Japanese knowledge, this is one that you may want to consider. Another game featuring mature content on the system is the romantic adventure game Welcome to Pia Carrot. Unique so far in being the only game for the system that has a English language translation patch. Reaction on the internet from those who have played the English language translation of this game seems to be overwhelmingly positive, despite the stigma and preconceived expectations that players have. Once they have played the game, people seem to say that it's a surprisingly compelling experience and tends to be more charming and engaging than they had been expecting. So if you are of the appropriate age, this may be one for you to check out. It is definitely not very expensive to get for the system. Games that you may want to look out for on the system if your level of Japanese ability is intermediate to advanced. The system was home to a number of anime-based games, including PC ports. We have Amagami-sama, Tenchi Muyo FX, and Cutie Honey FX, in addition to others. There are a couple of games for the system that seem to be held in high regard by Japanese gamers. We have this one here, Koku Hyoryu Nurugensu, and this game, Comic Road. The first one is a air battle RPG, and Comic Road is a simulation where you play as an aspiring manga artist. You have to manage various aspects of her daily life. I'd also encourage you to just explore the library of games. There's a lot of really interesting titles on the PCFX. I would also encourage you to take a look at my videos that I've done on PCFX games that might give you an impression of some of the other games that I haven't talked about here. As a PCFX collector, there are some other things that you may want to be aware of about the system. For starters, there is a demo disc available for Galaxy Fraulein Una FX. Additionally, demo discs were released with a magazine, PC Engine Fan Special, CD-ROMs 2 and 3, and also Super PC Engine Fan Deluxe Special CD-ROMs 1 and 2 are all playable on the PCFX. A mouse peripheral is available. You may also be interested to know there are 2 expansion cards available for the PC-98 and DOS computers respectively, that plug in and allow you to play PCFX games on those computer systems, and they appear to be made for people to homebrew games for the PCFX, and I believe there is a disc of games available or software that is specifically for the PCFX GA is what it's called. Lastly, the PCFX has the ability to play back Kodak's proprietary photo CD format photo CDs. Similar to DVD games, there were a handful of games that were made specifically for Kodak's photo CD format. While not technically PCFX games, these are games that you would be able to play back on your PCFX and would certainly make an interesting addition to a PCFX collection. Thank you for joining me. I hope that this video was informative, and I hope that you are excited about learning more about the PCFX. I think it is a slightly misunderstood, definitely underappreciated, very interesting piece of Japanese video gaming history. I think that owning this is something of a badge of honor in and of itself, but beyond that, I hope that you take an interest in the games themselves and take a little bit of time to explore what the PCFX has to offer. So that's all I had to say. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time. Thanks for watching.